Hello guys, what's up? This is Claudio Barba, motion designer from Brussels, Belgium. In today's tutorial we are going to create a radial bar chart, whose second name is a circular bar chart. And what is that? It's actually a bar chart but built on a circle. Okay, so we are going to create a polar coordinate system. We are going to write some expressions, some code, so do not be afraid. It's going to be very simple. Just follow step by step, and you are going to create something like this. And you will be very happy once you do it, because you will be able to reuse it in different ways. So let's jump into After Effects and see how this is done. Hey guys, so we are in After Effects now, and let me show you what we are going to create in detail. So this is the final result that we are going to achieve, and this is made basically with two components. The first one is a label, a text label, which is not only representing the label that we can move it everywhere, you see. This is not only the label, as I said, but it's also the database, the data that we are going to use to create automatically the charts. So if we change, you see the values here, the values are changing on the bars. Great, I love it. So I don't like equal values, so let's put 120 there. So, and then you see that this is changed dynamically, and then the animation is updated automatically. Okay, the second part are the bar charts, the radial charts, which there are 4 because we have 4 charts, but we will work just on one. So we will create one, and then we will just duplicate the same 3 times to have 4. But that's all we have, that's all we need. And you're gonna see this is gonna be pretty easy. Okay, just follow what I do. We are going to write some code, but it's easy. Just follow up with me. No pressure. I know many of you don't like coding, but expressions are very important in After Effects, so I think that every good motion designer should have a good knowledge of expressions. So this is good time to learn them if you still haven't. Okay. Just before we start, I will tell you later where you can get an example project of this, so that you don't, if you really can't write all the code. But first of all, you need to watch the video, because you need to understand what this does. Okay, and at the end I will tell you where you can get if you want the code. If you are interested in following more tutorials like this, subscribe to my channel, put a like on the video if you want. I just wanted to remember that I am the creator of Barber Charter, which is a bar chart traits script, which is a UI script in After Effects that you can use to create bar chart and donut charts races in After Effects, as you see many times on YouTube, and with just a couple of clicks. So have a look at barberchart.com if you are interested. So that being said, let's start with our project. Okay, so first of all, let's create a new composition. So let's click on Composition, New Composition. Call whatever you like. I choose width and height 600 by 600, and it's going to be a good dimensions for what we're going to do. 29.97 frame rate is good, and then 10 seconds as a duration. Then click on OK, and with that done, we are going to create our label. So let's click on the type tool, and let's click on here, and let's write our labels. So do what I do or do something different, just follow the same format. So I'm gonna put Milan 400, then enter. Don't use the enter on the numeric keyboard, but just the enter on the normal keyboard. So then what we can do, another Paris colon 600, enter Tokyo colon 500, and then maybe what can it be, Los Angeles colon 800. Okay, and then click on the selection tool. You can put wherever you like, and just put it, leave it there for the moment. Once you have done this, just go position yourself here on the layer, click type enter to modify the name, and call it something different, like my text. Okay, this is going to change just the name of the layer, but the content is going to be the same. Now that we have done this, we are okay with the layer for the moment. Okay, let's leave it like that, and let's start creating our first radial chart. Okay, so first of all, we just select the ellipse tool. Okay, and if you don't have selected it, just select it like that and double click on it. This will create a first ellipse. Okay, it's going to be different maybe for you. Just put on here on the top of the screen, just put a width of the border of 15. Okay, if you have a different stroke, you can do whatever you like, of course, but just I've done it in red. Click on stroke, and you're gonna select solid color if you still haven't, and then if you have a fill, just get rid of it. So just click on fill here and click on the first icon on the top left node. Okay, you should now have this same situation as me. Now we are going to put some expressions on this layer. So first of all, we are going to write to open here the ellipse path, and then we will have this size. Okay, normally it should be 600 by 600 as we have created standard one, but we press Alt or Option on the Mac, and then click on the stopwatch here. This will add an expression on our property. On the expression, we are going to write this. So just copy the same thing as I'm writing. So we can write V equal to 400 minus parse int open parenthesis, and then we're going to get the layer name. So we're going to also use the pick whip, this layer, and then dot name, and then outside of the parenthesis we're going to times 40 semicolon, and then we're going to give back an array of 2 dimensions, because the size of 2 dimensions, and then we're going to write v comma v. Now we got an error because we need still to rename the layer. So go to the layer, enter, and call it 1, like that. Very easy. So the error goes away, and now you see that our ellipse, our circle, slightly slower. It's 360. Okay, because we said that it's 400, the dimension, minus what is the name 1.40. This is going to be used by when we duplicate this layer. Let me duplicate like this now, just for example. You don't need to duplicate it right now, but just if you type on Control D, you see Control D, you see that the dimension is now dynamic, and it follows the label. Okay, let me get rid of this because we still need to do some work on the first layer. So now we have our dynamic dimension. What we're gonna do now is to add a slider to this slider property. So with the layer selected, we go to effects and presets, we go down to expression controls, and then we select the slider, okay, and we just drag over the layer. This is going to add, you see, slider control here, or down here you see you got to effects, slider control, you have our slider control. We want to add some code, some expression in here, of course. So let's click on Alt or Option and then click here to create our expression. So now just do what I do, okay? So just copy what I do, and I will explain later what this does. So lines equal to we need to get the label, okay, this label here. So what we can do is just we open this, we go to text, we have our source text here, so we go back to our expression on the slider control, we get the pick whip, and we go to source text here. So this is going to write a little bit of code for us, so to make our life easier. So we have now the source text, which is the complete source of this text. We need to split the lines, okay? We need an array with each line is each element of the array. So we're gonna do dot split, open parenthesis, and then we're gonna write like that. Sorry. Yep, like that, and then \r. This is the character of the new line. Semicolon. Then write max value equal to 0, because we want to calculate which is the max, the maximum of the value, the greatest value here, so that we can just create dynamically that the biggest chart will arrive around here, 3/4, and the others will be smaller. Okay, so we need to calculate which is the biggest of these 4 values here. So max value equal to 0. Then we're going to do for loop. So for, just stay with me, copy what I do, don't worry. Let element of lines, so for each of these each element of these lines that we have on the text, what we're gonna do is to open curly brackets and close it there, and then we create a temporary variable equal to parse int of what? Of element dot split, and we are going to use the column that we have here, column, to split the label from the value. Okay, so like that. Then we are going to take the second part of the array. So in JavaScript, 0 is the first one, 1 is the second one. So we're going to write between square brackets in here, and then closed, and semicolon. And then if temp is greater than max value, close parenthesis, then max value equal to temp. Sorry, like that, as easy as that. And then close parenthesis. And now we are going to with that we should have found which is the biggest of the values. And now we're going to give out the corrected value in function depending on the biggest value. Just copy what I do. So parse int open parenthesis parse int open parenthesis lines open square brackets parse int open parenthesis this layer dot name. Just be aware that there are some capital letters here and there. Just copy exactly what I do. Close parenthesis -1 close square brackets dot split, and we are going to use open parenthesis, and then we're going to use the colon, okay, as character to split as before, and then we are going to close parenthesis and then open square brackets 1 close square brackets close parenthesis times 75 because it's going to be 75%, just arrive right here, maximum values, and then divided by max value, close parenthesis, semicolon, and that's it. Okay, so here we now have our first value calculated. We still need to apply it to the circle. So to do that, we're going to select our layer, select our ellipse one, and then click on add, and let's add a trim path. Okay, this will add this trim paths here. We have start and an offset. What does this do? If you play with the end, you see that this is just getting a partial drawing of the circle. This is what we are going to use for showing the value. Okay, so we're going to put an expression on this end, but first we need to add an animation. Just do what I do for animating the creation of the radial chart. So on the first frame you're going to put it to 0, and you're going to click on the stopwatch here, and then you go to about around 1 second, and you're going to move this to 100. So this will add automatically a new keyframe on, you see, on the at 1 second. Select both of them and press F9 on the keyboard to add an ease on the keyframes, because in animation you always want to do it nicer, with some smoother accelerations. So add always an ease, almost always. Now with that, so we have our 2 keyframes, but we're going to add still some expression on this. So Alt or Option and click on stopwatch. This will keep the 2 keyframes, but we'll add an expression as well. And in this space you will write value. So value is normally just gives back the values of the keyframes times, and now we're going to get the value of the slider that we have just created. So effect open parenthesis and the name of the slider, which should be slider control, and then open parenthesis and then slider. No, sorry, what did I do there? Like this and like this, and then divided by 100. So this, there is an error. So where is the error? So this happens pretty frequently when you do some expressions, but express slider control, what's wrong? Effects effects. It's not plural, but it's singular, like that. Okay, and so you see that now we have our expression like that. You see that this is the first one, the first row. It's connected to Milan. It's 400. It's not the biggest, so it stops around here. But now the magic happens. Are you ready? Are you ready, really? So just click on the layer here, 1, and then Control D. You can you need to create four of those. So Control D 3 times, and you see that we have automatically created the other lines, and that's it. That's it. We have our animation. It's great. So now what we can do is position our text layer in the right position. You can modify the character font, the size of it to accommodate it to our layout. For me, it's I'm happy with that, more or less, and that's it. We have a great bar chart animation, radial chart animation, and it's dynamic. So we can, for instance, we can modify here. We can put 900. You see, and then Milan becomes the biggest again, and it's automatically the animation is automatically updated. It's calculated real time, so no worry. So if you have followed me like here till now, you see that it's great. You can still put some animation on the labels here, but let's put some animation on the labels as well, as I did in my first example. So with the My Text selected, just click on Animate, and then on character value. Okay, then open the animator one, the range selector, and then advanced. In character value here on the bottom you can put 1, and then you can play, you see, with the start to have it drawn character by character like that. So you can put a keyframe at on the first frame of the composition. You can put a keyframe, and then you go to, I don't know, 15 frames, and then you can put 100, and that's it. So you have our animation here. Isn't that great? So for those of you who could not follow me in writing all this tedious code, the good news is that you can download it for free from my website. Okay, I've put the link in the description below, so have a look at that, get to my website and download the code, and then you will be able to play with this. It's up to you to customize it. If you have any question, just get back to me in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer, as always. Maybe not in 5 minutes, just if I'm sleeping, depends on the time zone, but I will be able to answer to you as soon as possible. So I still remember you that I am the creator of Barber Chart. So if you want to create a more interesting animations with data visualizations in After Effects, you can go to barberchart.com and download my script plugin for After Effects. It's gonna be a pleasure for me to support you in your projects. If you need customizations, feel free to contact me, and I will be happy to give you an idea on what the project will be about. So if you're still interested in following more videos, just subscribe to my channel, put a like on this video, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.